Welcome to the Google Maps of the awakening journey into enlightenment and beyond. And I say that for some interesting reasons. In this website, I talk about the awakening process, enlightenment, how to measure it, the mathematics, and the ego in quite a different way to all other teachers, because you're a whole human being and all of you has to be included, allowing everything to be as it is. So here in this website and my other two websites, Student Success Tutor and LearnWhispering.com, I talk about the 9 pillar framework. It's common sense, because pillar 9 is common sense. So what you learn here to awaken you, to bring you to that place of stable, bulletproof enlightenment when you've been hit by a car, pandemic stuff, eh? And all those things, you can maintain the habit, and I call it that, a habit of presence. And as you get good at it, you get really good at being truly and correctly present, and then truly and correctly present, and then the divine yum step 4 of correct presence practice, and I'll explain all this shortly, is with you while life is going on, eh? We're well and truly into our second year of a pandemic now in 2022, and it ain't finished. So is God with you? Are you feeling the divine yum, as I call it? The noumenon, the divine, the void, the everything that is, the sparkling non-sparkle, and all those contradictory words? If not, then you'll learn to do that really quickly here, if you want to. Hey birdies, stop freaking out. What do you do when people around you freak out? These are all questions that get addressed in this website and in the courses, the paid courses, where every session, every video is a practice session where I correctly drill you into the practice of being present, so you are aligned from your cells, your DNA, your physical body, your etheric body, your mental and emotional bodies, your higher mental body, and all that esoteric stuff up to your spirit, your divine yum. Yes, I speak like a 5-year-old, and there's a very good reason for that. Pillar 5 in this common sense framework that anybody can do, and I speak about it exactly the same at LearnWhispering.com with how to whisper wild animals. These are totally wild parrots. How to develop the habits. How to nurture and grow the habit of being present, or in the learning state, or the whispering state, because it's all the same stuff. It's about neurology and your volitional attention alignment. Yes, you have volition. It's called free will. In the Bible, they call it the apple. So are you present? Because that's your choice. It's your attention, and no one can take it away from you unless you're drugged, you're asleep, you've been knocked out, or you have got some serious neurological dysfunction going on. You've always got a choice. So there is a chooser. You gonna come up, honey? You gonna come up on my knee? Come on. Yeah. Tentative. It's a new bird. No. So with this common sense approach that's measurable for you, so you can validate it, I'll teach you how to be correctly present. Not present that everybody else talks about, the vague concept where everybody has their own version of it. Correctly present, so you're here in your body. There's 4 steps, the 4 steps of correct presence practice. And as you go through them and use your conscious volitional attention, you can align yourself into that place. And it's a habit that grows, and you get better at it. But installing the habit is the most important thing, hey? Because then it becomes stable in life. So I'm pretty blunt about things in this website. I only do specifics, because Roger Federer can be very specific about tennis, although he just missed the Australian Open that just finished here, where Ash Barty, world-leading female role model, just took out the cup. Woohoo! You can apply this to tennis. So what is the right habit? Because before you were watching this video, you were running a habit A. What was it? Thinking, worry, distraction, thinking someone else's theory or quoting a spiritual teacher? Or were you actually physically in the lower half of your body, aware of your inner body, your presence, that allowing space that allows everything to be, including the crap, and your resistance, and your chatty head, and your ego. And while you're allowing all those things, with your volitional attention, was the divine sparkle here. The divine, infinitesimally small, incredibly, unbelievably, explodingly massive, everything, nothing, yum yum. It's easier just to call it God, eh? Or grace. So notice your presence practice as you read this website and look at the videos, and they will need reviewing because my language and my approach is very, very different. Yeah, it's all based in Eckhart Tolle and Adyashanti, because I worked out that presence practice and the presence path is the correct orientation, i.e. start at the destination. It's already here. Well, it is when you learn to attune to it. Specifically, exactly, step by step. If you're not in phase 3 abiding awakening, in 5 years from when you start practicing presence or what you think it is, if you're not there in 5 years, you need serious personal feedback, and the 9 pillar framework will point out where you're lacking and you need some quality feedback. Quality feedback being part of pillar 6, external support, a proper coach that lives this stuff, a community, and are you hanging out with the right people and doing the right things, you know? Going to meditation classes instead of sitting on a bar stool drinking beer. I mean, it's great to take presence into a bar. You can take presence everywhere. That's the point. It's a habit. Enlightenment is just the correct habit. Do you know the correct habit? And that correct habit is, and I'll say these 3 words and you'll see that 3 words through all of the website. Correct presence practice, because you have to, 1, do it correctly. You have to learn and do the steps to be present, allowing everything to be as it is, as best as you can without forcing it with your head. Practice, i.e. you do it so much it becomes unconscious, your unconscious mind. Which is why I talk like a 5-year-old, I giggle, I have fun, and I play with crazy wild animals with the Chaos Masters here, who I've trained to be quite, you know, peaceful, because they're just like us. We've all got an inner 5-year-old, or an inner cockatoo, and when you speak to it nicely, and don't say, ooh, that's your ego, and bash it and abuse it. What happens when you abuse a 5-year-old? They turn out to be a monster. So check out the videos. Check out Losing and Awakening. Check out what do you want and what you're going to do about it. So you train your attention to have the right habit throughout your day. 5 years, phase 3, enlightenment level 1, abiding presence, is guaranteed if you do the work. If you're lazy, no, because it's your attention and you can't get away from that. And I'm waiting for a truly amazing non-dual teacher who can tell me how free will volition is not needed. So you can be aware of step 4, the divine yum yum, God, the nothingness, the no doer. You can only be aware of that if your attention's there with it, eh? Logic. These guys don't have volitional attention, they're purely unconscious, which is why they always act out and do the perfect things at the perfect times in the videos here on this website. All the paid courses have at least 1 hour of one-on-one, so I can check in with your questions, give you feedback, and because I am in phase 6, non-abiding transpersonal awakening, it means I can tune in and see where you're at and give you some feedback as to what's required for you to bust through. What do you want? What are you doing about it? Have you been present while this video's been going? Are you feeling your legs? Are you in peripheral vision? That's neurologically wired to presence. It's called the alpha brainwave state, which is the key to learning, and the entire studentsuccesstutor.com academic life coaching website, which is the same stuff. Or the whispering state, so you can hang out with beautiful, lovely birds that are super intelligent and will make you bleed if you do something wrong. Or if they're not trained right. Cockatoos are just like the ego, eh? When you train them right, they're just the sweetest, amazing things to play with. Look at him. You having a little fluff, eh? If you abuse them and train them wrong, or they're nasty, and they can be very, very destructive. Like any 5-year-old, they'll have temper tantrums. Hey, sweeties. Hey. Come up. Yeah, come up on my knee. Come on. Notice how I speak to the bird? Notice how I always speak to the birds. Notice the silly names I give them, like a 5-year-old would. And that's why pillar 5 in the 9-pillar framework is your unconscious mind. That's the majority of you. A subset of that, of course, is your ego. Is it trained right? That's the only question. If you're abusing it, you're never going to awaken. That's the simplicity of this website, eh? And the videos. This is supposed to be a video-based website. There's far too many words, and writing is my greatest weakness. So excuse the writing if it's a bit strange for you, but I'm doing my best. Review the videos, practice, do a success journal, so you're recording your practice, recording the evidence, and reinforcing to your unconscious mind, hey, this is where we're headed, buddy. 5 years. It's mathematical. A habit. No. A correct habit. Yeah. It's all about correct habits, isn't it? Hey? Come on. Correct habit. Correct outcome. Bad habit. Bad outcome. That's a unique way of looking at your awakening, your enlightenment, eh? Am I in the right habit right now? What is the right habit? Correct presence practice. The 4 steps, going through them as best as you can, allowing what is, including the chatty head, your ego, your resistances, noisy cars, too much sun, pandemics. So you're here. And you can have that divine glow, or at least the allowance and the yumminess and the peace of just plain plum duff presence, which is you, with whatever's going on. That means you are at your most resourceful, so you can deal with the situation consciously, using your conscious volitional attention to get hopefully the best outcome that you can. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to ring for a quick call, and I'll answer you some of your questions for you. Or you can go for the first session, which is longer, if we haven't had the chat. And we'll get into the meat of it. We'll have a Skype session, and I'll tune in and give you some real quality feedback about where you're at and what you can do, and get you on the way. You coming back, or are you going to freak out? Eh? This is why there's the Mastery Club here, eh? When you go on this awakening journey, you're often by yourself. You don't know what you're doing. So the Mastery Club's about that. People that are working through this 9-pillar framework, correct presence practice, the Laws of Grace course, which is totally epic. That's where the 9 pillar framework fell out of, after doing that for a full year. I just consolidated the structural elements, and structure never changes. Pillar number 7. So regardless of your phase of awakening or your cycle of awakening, the structure is always the same. It never changes. And then when you've done that enough and you've learnt to trust it, then when super bleep 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 is going on in your life, you know what to do, and you can cross your fingers if you want, but if you're following the structure, it works. That's why it's mathematical. That's why there is a number to your enlightenment. Phase 3, abiding awakening. So the phases pages, go to do the overview a couple of times and get your head around it, get an idea of the summary, and then all the levels that are explained in separate videos. And you'll need to watch them a few times. As the levels get higher, harder and harder to talk about, because it's more it's difficult to talk about. Although the outcomes are very measurable. When you get hit by a car and your first reaction is presence when you can't breathe, then you've passed a serious test. That's evidence. That's how you know your awakening's real, eh? Can you watch TV and be properly present? Not just thinking you're present, that doesn't count. Not using vague language, that means nothing. It means a million things. Hence we're specific and everything is measurable, and when you build the habits correctly and you do them, putting your attention there, putting in the effort, putting in the motivation, doing the follow-up, doing your journal, coaching would really help. The courses, it just becomes how you live, default. Then it is dead easy. Then there is no effort, there is no doer, sort of, but yes there is, because I'm choosing to put my attention on that piece of steel there. Yep. Are you okay? Everybody's freaking out, mate. Notice how he's gone into panic mode. Hey. Come on, sweet. I've got you. I've got you. And talk to yourself this way. Like it's your best friend, 5-year-old brother, sister that you love to bits, with caring and compassion. That's how you talk to yourself. That's how you kill the war with the ego. And the ego then learns to love this awakening bizzo. It really does. Because your ego doesn't like pain, eh? Yeah. So my phone number's at the bottom of the page, contact page if you want to send me an email and send me some information with it. Correct Presence Practice course is the introductory course where we get very, very specific on presence practice so you can do it correctly. And that is part 1 of the Laws of Grace. A small part, the introductory part, because the rest of the Laws of Grace is the maths, the habit formation, what gets in the way, busting all those silly myths that stop people for lifetimes believing nonsense. Yeah, come on. See you in the next video. I'm Jason for AwakenedEssence.com. Hey? Well, everybody's gone.